Hi YouTube, welcome to the Wood and Glass Art channel. I'm Gary, maker of things that probably could have been easier. But as I always say, where's the fun in that? My motto has always been, why build simple, create beauty. And in this video, where I take my motto to heart, I'll show you my latest project, which took a little longer than it should have, looks better than I ever imagined, and gives a nod to the past with a shape that feels fluid. Where I live, there are many beautiful heritage arts and crafts homes. That movement, which flourished around 1880 to 1920, give or take, placed great emphasis on craftsmanship and especially on their stained glass windows. And I often find myself admiring their intricate design while out walking our dog around the neighborhood. Those windows with their artistry and detail inspired me to design something that captured the spirit of the arts and craft movement, but is truly unique. So drawing from that influence, I chose a vase form and sketched a design with a double bend and a broad belly to give it a bold sculptural presence. Now, I've designed a number of three-dimensional pieces before, so I'm very familiar with the process of putting them together, but this one pushed my skills to the next level for shaping glass, and I learned a lot from this one. To achieve that shape, I needed to build a custom form to hold the pieces of glass in place during soldering. That meant some woodworking was involved up front to shape a form which I then mounted on a jig which could pivot and hold the glass steady and horizontal while soldering. And if you've ever worked with solder, you'll know it loves to run downhill. So the joints, they need to be positioned horizontally to get a clean solder seam. Now, the real challenge I found was in the overall design. With the double bend in the form, each piece of glass needed to flow just right, coming together in a way that felt both intentional and sculptural. For the central motif, I chose the tulip to anchor the piece in the spirit of the arts and craft movement, and alongside with the strong vertical and horizontal lines, all of which capture the essence of that era. One lesson I learned during this project, and I'll share in case you try something similar, is to cut all your pieces before foiling and soldering. With this project, I built each side individually, cut, grind, foil, solder, and repeat. But when it came time to assemble the vase, I realized a couple of the sides were slightly off, which meant I had to cut replacement pieces to get the edges to fit properly. In hindsight, if I'd cut all the pieces up front, it would have been easier to spot the differences, and it would have saved me a lot of time and a fair amount of stress. In the end, the vase came together quite nicely, and it stands 13.5 inches tall, is 6 inches square in the belly, has 405 pieces of glass, trimmed with African mahogany, and as I lost track of time, took me approximately 70 hours to complete. I hope you'll enjoy watching the build process, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you'd like to follow me on future projects. I'm always building. As said, let me show you.